Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to IsraeliteBot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted in to the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. This morning where we're in the 50-day window. 50 days, 50 days, 50 days, Dougie Pressure on. But this ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another nation down the wrong path. Oh, I don't know what to tell you. Here's the thing, like I had said, and I stated this, I do state these things, these matters. I say and have said and have stated those when you see them giving the countdowns. You know what the funniest thing is? A lot of our brothers and sisters here, they say, Brother Karras, when are you leaving? When are you out of here, Brother Karras? When? Don't you worry. I will give you all that message after I'm gone. No, I'm just messing with you. Stop. I'm going to be one of the last ones on out of here. So I can at least direct our people to where they need to go. You know, the funniest thing is that in my military career, that's what I used to support. A couple years ago, I was in this conference. It was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And in this conference, I was helping. It was like a conference / workshop because they wanted to get some understanding of how to support humanitarian relief operations in Yemen. This was during the time that that Saudi Arabia and Yemen were actively fighting each other at the behest of the Western nations and at the behest of the Western nations. I'm going to tell you, that was a very ugly fight. It was a very ugly fight because all of the same tactics that they're getting ready to employ, they already did that with the Saudis and the Emiratis. The nations that they employed, they actually employed some Nigerians, Sudanese, and they even had some Kenyans and other African nations. They were utilizing, and if you didn't know, that's actually also one of the other issues that is going on in thank you for the gift, John Mack. I appreciate it. Hallelujah. Appreciate you seeing. No, I'm not going to leave our people behind. No. Now, you know what? What type of servant would you be to just be? Look, I'm sorry. I'm not a 1980s televangelist. There are things that's going on in the background. That's why I said, look, I need help. I need support. That's why I always talk about NeoDiplomacy. I'm training people. If the doors and the opportunities are flying wide open to us. Now, am I going to be able to state that here on YouTube, on government tube, to have things derailed? No. I told you they're watching, man. They shut my stream down last week. Just for showing Houthis boarding a ship and destroying a ship. And these folks, you have Patrick Lancaster. No shade on Patrick Lancaster. Shout out to Patrick Lancaster. I was watching some of his videos. If you didn't know who Patrick Lancaster is, he is a war correspondent, freelance war correspondent. He is doing the war correspondency as a press journalist attaché. And he actually supports a lot of the independent journalists with the on-the-ground reporting. And I'm going to tell you this. As a former intelligence officer, mind you, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. Their level of analysis and on-the-ground reporting is what you would find, primarily what you would find in a real intelligence assessment. You all only get the intel assessments that's very heavily doctored, heavily redacted, and they're put in a nice light, like the article we read yesterday with Bryson, Bryant. Oh yeah, Brigitte, sorry. The and the alter ego formerly known as Jean-Michel, however you want to call it. They put the spin on it. And then when you find out a couple weeks later, oh, they actually did a lot of damage to that Eastern Mediterranean nation. They did a lot of damage to Qatar. You realize that they wanted to evacuate the base because you can't have people actually, recording, number one, and then when they get back, they have that recording, and then they download and they upload those recordings. That's what ends up happening. Oh, I did tell too much, too fast. Yep. So, family, make this appeal. I make this appeal, family. If Brother Karras, if I'm over at Alligator Alcatraz, please, DPT, holding it down. Mama, I love you. Because the doctor said I was blind in one eye. My psychiatrist said I don't make no sense. I got some things. DA don't know what's happening with me. Your work does support your donations, just in all these endeavors. Your donations do create opportunities and spaces. Now, you must have never seen that movie. Man, I'm trying to remember that movie back in the day where Chuck Norris was a Billy Jack living in the swamps. I think it's Invasion USA. They had to call him from the swamps and the Everglades to fight off the Russian invasion from the Cubans. No, listen. I've swam with gators before here in Florida. I've swam with snakes before here in Florida. I have. When I walk the trails with my dogs, I'm encountering at least 3 or 4 snakes a day. I go through the woods. But I'm not there to intent. I'm not there, trying to kill everything I see. Yeah, animals tend to kind of pick up on that nonsense. Many a times when I was in Arizona doing schools and things of that nature, I actually stepped over 5 rattlesnakes. And I'm like, thank you, Father, that thing didn't bite. Thank you, Father, that you closed that thing's mouth. I swim with the gators. Nah, most sides got me. You'll just see them kind of little dart in the water. That could be that's a little interesting to see a little dart. But they're not going to mess with you and let you mess with them. And when they see you coming, they actually they crawl away. No, I'm not trying to mess with you. I'm not their prey. I'm not their food source. Unless you've been feeding us to them, That's the problem. Notice that alligator bait was designated for our children, right? Remember, toddlers, things of that nature. The children that would still be crawling on all fours. And that really is a sad reality, because the reality is, look, that's the judgment. I mean, whatever you do will be you'll be judged. You're going to be judged. Now, you can ask for forgiveness, you can repent, but you also have to repair. Because why? Because that's a heart thing. Just because you say, please forgive me, and you don't want to do anything, that's actually not forgiveness. That's just, please spare me so I can continue to do wickedness. Okay. They think that it's like playing golf for them. I scratched. My ball went in the hole. Let me do a mulligan. Let me do a redo. And that's the game that they think that they can play with the Most High. Well, I'm just going to continue to sin, and I'm going to continue to sin some more, and then they get in their head, well, I can do anything I want. I am the promised one. Because why? Because the Most High hasn't judged my sins. And then they're going to continue to do wicked. This is why you read in Jasher. This is why you read in Enoch. This is why you read in Baruch. This is why you read in Esdras. For those that are doing wicked, let them continue to do wicked. Because why? Because their judgment is piling up. I mean, come on. All my Northeast folks, y'all were basically floating away Monday and Tuesday. I didn't even realize how bad things were in the Northeast. It looked like y'all really had a hurricane that just dumped on y'all. But what is that? That's judgment. No, that's global warming. Okay, you can frame it however you want to frame it. You could straw man it however you want to straw man it. I don't care. That's up to you. But you know what you can't frame and you can't straw man is when you're going broke. You can't straw man when your dollar is crashing. You can't straw man when you done took away a majority of your workforce. Because why? Because they were illegals that you just turned a blind eye, and now they set themselves up for the political fallout. Greetings, brother Garth. You got your scuba gear on.
Yeah, I was just, here to say I'm marked safe from the 2025 floods in New Jersey.
Good, good. I'm glad you checked in, brother Garth.
I was just here to check in to let you know, that I'm doing well, and I'm okay. But no, for real,
I
that
didn't,
is crazy.
I didn't know if
Honestly,
you
it's
had
been
washed
raining
out.
almost like I don't know what's good. Like I've lived here most of my life. I've never seen it rain consistently at least once every day for the past almost 3 weeks. It's been raining. Like, I mean, I maybe there's only like not even I could count the amount of days on my hand where it hasn't rained at least once a day. Well, I mean, at least once a day in the past 3 weeks. And yeah, I mean, the places that got really, really bad were like more north by like where I used to go to school, like Wachung, where like by like Montclair and like North Plainfield and all those other places. It
Mm-hmm.
was terrible. It was like they were like completely submerged on the water. And even when
Mm-hmm.
I was driving out there, I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should just like go home now because it was just like torrential downpours of rain, and then I'm like driving, and then I'm watching like sights of lightning I haven't seen in like years. I haven't seen lightning like this in I don't know, maybe since I was like a child or something. It was crazy. Obviously, the signs are there. The weather, the Most High is not playing. Places are being judged. So I could just tell from like New Jersey, yeah, it's real out here. It's not playing around.
Turn around, don't drown. Turn around, don't drown. Yeah, listen, they said that was the second most rain that New York City's ever seen
Well, yeah,
within an
I
hour.
saw the subways in New York City. That was crazy. I haven't seen flooding like that since like Hurricane, what was the huge one? Sandy.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a hurricane. Keep in mind, folks, that wasn't a hurricane. I'm going to see if I can find some images on there. Trauma alert if you have, lived through these things. And it's funny because this weather is going crazy. So the flooding that you have happened on the last week, I've been getting a text alert where I'm at here in the Tampa Bay area where they're saying flood alert because we're about to have a tropical storm. I'm actually in the middle of a tropical low. It should be getting out of my area either later today, tomorrow. But yeah, that rain is something else. Let me go ahead and I want to share this video before, before I make my way to Alligator Alley. Now I rebuke that in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Here we go.
BMW that's underwater.
All right, off because anytime they have that, look at that. Now I'm surprised people didn't jump into there and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a jet spring on a jacuzzi."
You know how disgusting that water is?
The grossest jacuzzi ever.
Like, well, I haven't showered in a couple days, so
I was just watching something on Kenyan Beast of white people not showering. They said, "Nah, we good. We just got this deluge. We got some soap and water." They got soap and no wash rag though, just soap. Oh my goodness!
not huge, fans of exfoliation. Just
what is that?
just let the dead skin cells.
Let it ruminate. Look at that whirlpool. You know you're gonna get sucked up in that whirlpool. You know how strong that sucker is? That's crazy. That's at least like 3 feet of water right there.
Yeah, and all those cars are totaled.
Yeah, they're all gone. They're all gone. So what ends up happening is that when your car actually sucks in that amount of water, your car has to breathe. And it's going to breathe into your carburetor, your engine, right? Your transmission, it's all gone. Wow. This is something else. This is now remember, there's still about a good 3-4 more months of this, because most of the time the Northeast gets pounded around September, October. You know that, Art?
Yeah, September, October, as early as August sometimes. So, like I said, I've never seen weather like this. I questioned whether I'm in like Orlando or Florida, the way it's been raining in Jersey every other day, and it's like thunderstorms, and then the sun will come out, and then I've seen it rain while the sun is outside. But I mean, I saw a double rainbow. So, that was the most I said. I won't flood the earth anymore. But you know how they've perverted it and made it into something else. But I mean, I saw that rainbow.
Yeah. The loophole is he's not going to flood that earth, but he already told you what's going to be happening with that fire.
Yep.
And now that the ultimatum is here, oh boy, don't worry, we got some nice fire that's going to make everything evaporate when it boils. And, we're going to see more of these weather phenomenons and things of that nature. And you know what? I have to be. How can you walk up that? I'm sorry.
No, that's disgusting. You're trapped in
that. When I get home, I am literally just taking off all my clothes at the front door and putting them in a trash bag because it's just over.
You might as well, yeah, because like I said,
it's over.
It's all sewage and nastiness, rats. There's rats in that water too, because they're scurrying. New York's already a dump, so.
Oh my goodness! Imagine all those people now getting sick from all that water. Well, here comes your next pandemic. You're actually looking at it.
Yeah, and that's not. I mean, obviously the rail is electric too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, all those wires, everything could just electrocute you.
Huge hazard.
My goodness.
But I don't even know like what the specific history, because I mean, obviously this is, postulation and conjecture, and because people are saying, I mean, obviously we know like some of those places in the South, and you know that place in Texas were sundown towns, but I don't know what the history of like where North Jersey those places would really be, but I mean I know
Oh
Plainfield
man. No,
and
you got to remember all those places. All those places had societies. Those are all Indian places. Those are all Native American villages. And on this channel, before you get any type of Native American Hebrews,
oh god.
don't bring that mess here. Don't bring that. Well, I was Choctaw Cherokee. Nah, you were sold to the Choctaw Cherokee. Yeah. Your father may have been a Choctaw Cherokee.
Sir, where are you getting this information from? Look it up on Chat GPT or Google. Oh, can you just copy and paste that in there for me?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not computer. I'm just mocking the guy that was on Jacoba and Teo the other day. Don't mind me.
you can get it from Chat GPT. Oh my goodness. Where does Chat GPT get its sources? Oh, from computer engineers that are making crap up. Because when you converse, I don't even say talk to, when you converse and you say, well, what about documents from Europe that say otherwise? They're literally just becoming digital idiots. I'm sorry. You can't be digitally foolish or fooled. And what that is that actually shows it's just intellectual laziness. Are you going to check the source? No. I'm just going to say what other Chat GPT says, what Gemini says. And then whatever they go off of, that source is not even really a source because it's just made up conjecture. It's intellectual laziness. So, yes, when I grew up in New Jersey, especially South Jersey, man, all those areas, you have a lot of Indian villages, and those villages have been converted. Those Native American villages, those Native American names, they had been converted. You may have a street that actually may state the real name of the villages.
And the thing about it in New Jersey, and people have brought this up, it's like there's like there's more than maybe 2 or 3 occasions where towns literally Belmar and there's Belmoir or whatever, where there's like literally a word or two or a letter or two where the spelling is different, like Long Branch, Long Beach Island, all. So that makes sense because they just literally named it, and like they didn't really add any creativity to renaming it, because a lot of places in New Jersey sound similar. Middletown, and then I mean there's a lot of examples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got your Millvilles, Franklinville, Sicklerville, Cowtown, Swedesboro. But then you'll have some other places in New Jersey like Rahway. And you'll have some other ones that will have some Indian names. Same as what you have in Virginia. Here in Florida, tons of areas with Indian names or Native American names. However, in the Northeast, that was a population center for so long that, listen, it was conquered. So what do you do if you're a conquered people? You either give up and you assimilate, have assimilated, or you head west. And then they continued to head west, and they continued to go to where they're going to go. They can only go so long. Most of your places, your reservations, if you think about it, are what? East of the Mississippi.
Manasquan Reservoir.
Yeah. Iroquois. You know how many, like, I think Delaware is actually, I think that is actually an actual Indian name. Don't quote me on it. I'll need to have a source.
The Passaic River. I'm pretty sure that's also, I mean, that's why there's so much. Well, yeah, not probably, because the Passaic River is right next to all those places, like in North Plainfield and like Montclair and all, like Newark and all those places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a lot of those Tuckahoe, those Winona. Yeah, you'll have a lot of those places. They're still there. You have a couple of of Indian names. They're still there. But a lot of the tribes, they wanted to. I remember going to like a Native American festival when I was younger in South Jersey. And they were doing the little spinning things on the little poles and stuff like that. Their Native American traditions, things of that nature.
I think what were they called, the Lenape Indians or Lenape? I'm this is like social studies in like second grade, so don't mind me. But I'm pretty sure there was like the Lenape Indians or something that were like prevalent here in New Jersey.
Well, they may have. Remember, New York City was sold to Indians for $12 million, supposedly. When like when they always say the land sales, supposed land sales, and then it's like, okay, and then they took away their money. They don't tell you about that. Taking away all the things. So that's why I have to laugh, because whenever you get something from them, they will devise a maneuver, a plan to take away from you. That's how that goes.
Isn't that why they call? Isn't that what they call it? You're a you know what giver. Isn't that where that? Isn't that where that term originated? Because they'll give it to you, and then they'll take it back, or they gave it to them and they took it back, and they made it a pejorative against that.
Against them, exactly. Against them. Isn't don't you see how that deflection always happens?
Of course it.
You see how that is such the mind trick. That's the Jedi mind trick, right? 90 days, 50 days, 100 days. I'm pushing back tariffs.
Yep. All the wolf tickets, but now they don't really amount to anything.
I'm not arming Ukraine. Not arming Ukraine, huh? And oops, I'm not arming Ukraine. I'm arming Ukraine, but Germany and them are going to be buying the arms from us. He's still arming Ukraine. You're not a drug dealer.
I just facilitate the sales of the drugs.
I just facilitate the sales of the drugs. So let's judge the matter by the way you judge a matter. If you are in the transport, operation, production of drugs, and then you have the drug dealers buy your products to then sell to others, it ain't our fault. That's the drug dealer's fault. What? What? Look, I just make sure that, the cocaina is, is good. They're the ones that cut it down. So it's their product. Does not the case get brought all the way to the production? Was it that? So by their simple logic, the 30 plus years of the war on drugs, you're telling me it literally has no merit due to their logic right now. We're not going to arm Ukraine. Well, not directly. So we're going to have the product of the weapons flooding the streets, the Ukrainian army, through our plug. And that's why I believe that the society that we're living in right now is probably by far, in order to be a third world, you actually have to have a third world mechanism of thought. You don't become a third world nation overnight. It actually takes a generation. And as you see the teaching philosophy over the years, I mean, look, they literally took out CRT, or they're saying everything's CRT when it's history. No, they're trying to explain to you that you're going to be a third world nation, and now you're following the trajectory of the third world thought process, because if you're not able to critically think, then how can you even govern yourselves? Remember, that came out of Trump's mouth. This is going to be the last election. Because why? Because y'all can't govern yourselves. You showed that you can't govern yourselves. And the way that this is going, my question is, where are the taxes being collected that's going to, pay for the subways? Yep. Namani noted, says Lenape Indians.
Yep, I remember learning about that specifically. I don't know, my brain just brought me back to a time when I, like second grade, we learned about. I think that was the first Indians that we learned about.
Right before you celebrated Thanksgiving. That's all.
Right when everyone thought I celebrated Kwanzaa. I'm pretty sure that was the same grade too.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know about Lumberton. Right there on 301. I know about it. I usually will stop in the Lumberton to get gas. Because something about South Carolina to me, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like,
Shoot, we talk about South Jersey. Like I said, when I'm driving South Jersey, I'm going more than likely, I'm either going out of New Jersey or going to Atlantic City, but I haven't been to Atlantic City in years. But I'm not trying to stop anywhere in South Jersey.
well, especially if you don't know if you don't
Yeah,
know the
I don't know
places.
any. Yeah, I really. Yeah, that too. But even just I don't know. I guess my brew compass is this is not this is not the county that I live in, and especially when it's just all that space. It's like, ooh, it's like things could be, this is a place where no one could hear you scream and things of that nature. I'm like, yeah.
So let me preface this, because I don't want to offend. I don't want to offend. When I'm talking about South Carolina, I'm talking about the Midland areas. Okay, you have your Midlands, you have your Highlands, and then you have your Lowlands. Okay, those areas off of 95 are really your Midland areas. That's the corridor. You go past those corridors, y'all know what I'm talking about. Go 30 miles past those corridors on either direction, and it's a very, very unique environment. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm saying. South Carolina, there are even parts of Georgia that I have to be wary of, especially when you're on I-20. Yeah. Especially when you're on I-16. Yeah. Look, yeah. Yeah, Tyler Book says, LOL, I can't hold you, brother. That's true. It is.
Even when I'm, like Brick, New Jersey, like I really don't want to be in Brick, really, honestly. That's another place where I know the history of that place for sure. That's a sundown town, like near me. I'm not just gonna disclose my location, but yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, I was watching something on Dr. Rashad's channel. I forgot what his name. Indisputable or Undisputable. No, I got issues in Alabama too. No. I mean, if you want to call the Panhandle in Pensacola, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same everywhere, especially in the South. I try to be careful, even when I drive during the at night. I like to do my driving at night, you know. Um, but you still have to be careful.
Yeah, heck, even when I'm up in like Sussex County, which I mean I used to have friends that live there, but I don't hang out with them anymore. But or talk to anyone. But yeah, driving up to Sussex County, and whatever hop the Kong or that hop the Kong, New Jersey. You know what I'm talking about, or I forgot what they call it now. But even all those places up North Jersey in the mountains, yeah, that's another.
Yeah.
You got to be
As you're getting
careful.
over towards the Pocono area, as you're getting over
Yes.
towards Delaware Water Gap.
Yes, once you pass. Yes, once you pass.
Yeah.
Once you pass. When you're going on, what is it?
For
Geez.
78.
Yes, 78.
Yeah.
Once you go to like basically once you pass Newark,
Yeah,
78,
you
and you're
start getting
going.
west.
Yeah,
Yep.
when you get west, like Hanover and all those
Mm-hmm.
places, you are in the forbidden zone.
It is. Yeah, you're in the forbidden zone until you like make it to, I think, Harrisburg out 78, something crazy. Yeah, it's but if you don't know, you don't know that a lot of our people aren't up there. A lot of our people aren't over in like Stroudsburg or East Stroudsburg, the Poconos area. They'll have you there. They'll gladly take your money, right, for a few days, but they don't want you to be there. They don't. A lot of the areas that our people had settled was really because we were able to get there and do a lot of the trade and commerce. That was it. And then they designated the portion of town that you're in. That's it. And that's all over that's all up and down the East Coast. The other day when I was talking about Marion County, because my uncle lives out there, my aunt and uncle live out in Marion County. And there was a video of a sheriff's officer in Marion County putting the black man, the Hebrew man, in handcuffs. He was getting one of these barn homes built. And they had just done the framing. They just did the exterior.
Oh yeah, they arrested him for trying to arrest him for trespassing, if I'm correct.
Yeah, and he's like, "This is my land. I bought it." On any type of construction build, it shows the name and the lot number. Then, then after that's completed, then it gets assigned from the county, the actual address, and then, it goes to the post office, and it's an official, USPS address, street address as recognized by the state and the county. I had a house built here in Florida. And when I had the house built, guess what? I was always there, like darn near every other day, because I wanted to see everything get raised from the foundation. Why not? I'm buying that thing for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I want to see this. And I would pull on up and I'd walk the property and I'd look and I'd see what they built, how they built things. They didn't have to ask me, do you need to see the property or anything? No, I've seen all of it. I saw how the piping went. I saw the installation. I saw the literally the drywall. And then they get to the point to where they lock down the house because, they're getting in more fixtures. Nah, he was still arrested. Or excuse me, not arrested. You're right, Dave. He was cuffed and detained and questioned. But the question is, why did it have to go that far? And the reality is that it didn't. That was the lie that was told. Do you understand? We get aggressive when we ask the question, why? You ask why, you're being aggressive. So you're not allowed to talk here in the United States. You're not even allowed to defend yourself. I hope you all know you're not allowed to defend yourself in the United States. Right? What you think is lawful is not lawful. What you may say is legal is illegal. So the things that you see that you have a president being able to do that's lawless, which it is, and they told you in order for you to be made whole, restored, or have some sort of restitution within that lawlessness, you now then have to sue. The reality is, why would you engage in lawlessness to begin with? Now you're entering literally modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And when you look at the book of Jasher, it wasn't just about sexual immorality. It was also about legal immorality.
Yep, they would I remember the story of the traveler. He brought him into his The guy brought him into his home, making him think that everything he was doing was out of goodwill. And then he said, "Oh, you owe me this." And then he was brought to court on to false pretenses. I mean, it's not funny, but then I remember he like, well, you'd have to read the story, but yeah, it's not all about, sexual perversion and whatnot. It's just straight up wickedness and lawlessness.
Yeah, it's literally wickedness via the vice of legal. Cursed is a nation of what? Unjust laws. Cursed is a nation. Now you're starting to see they're now saying weather conspiracies. And I don't know. I don't know if it's really weather conspiracies or things of that nature. But what I do know is they're putting these on the books because I know where this is going to be headed to. This is from the Washington Post, from a Shannon Osaka. How weather conspiracy theories moved from online fringes to state laws. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer sent a letter to all public airports in the state to warn them of a new law banning any injection of chemicals to change the climate or weather. Violators of this law are guilty of third-degree felonies and fines as high as $100,000. Uthmeyer wrote, the letter seemed to endorse a persistent conspiracy theory that cloud seeding could have played a role in causing the floods in Texas that have killed at least 132 people. The Florida law and Uthmeyer's letter underscoring it are the latest examples in the surge of right-wing support for conspiracy theories that have spread across social media in recent years. Far-right conspiracy theorists say airplanes are leaving chemtrails in the atmosphere that can change the weather, harm human health, and even control the minds of the population. They assert that the U.S. government is conducting cloud seeding experiments that were responsible not only for the recent floods in Texas, but also for Hurricane Helene last year. None of these conspiracy theories are true, but they are nevertheless taking root in the highest offices of government. So why would they say none of these conspiracy theories are true? Because you also have to understand that you now have two wings. You have two wings. To do what? It's to cause confusion. Well, something has to be true because something caused lawmakers here in Florida, here in my state, to take notice and put it on the books. Now you have, honestly, what they want to shed light. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to do it for the altruistic purpose of, making sure that people's lives are in tip-top optimal shape. No, I'm not saying that because they don't care about that. But what they want to do is they want to tell you truth, and then they want to spread a lot of lies because they want to see they're testing the population. Are you a first world population that will be alarmed by this, or are you a third world population that will just say, I gotta grind? Because if you're in a third world population that says you have to grind, then guess what that means? That means that you are in the spirit of poverty. That's what third world nations are. It's the spirit of poverty that's manifest. Poverty creates frustration and anger. And that's also manifested through fear. Why now is Europe, is the UK, and now the West? Everybody's scared now. Everybody's fearful now. I'm scared of losing my position. I'm scared of losing this. I'm scared of losing that. Look, do you not know? Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, if you actually read what they stated, if you actually understand what was being said, they didn't shut down or shut off completely the minerals and the resources to Europe. What they want you to believe is that they did. Because why? Because they want their population to be fearful. Because why? Because they're not trying to pay them a fair wage or a fair price or a fair compensation for utilizing the wealth. Oh, we're never going to have any type of wealth. We're not going to have electricity. The electricity are going to be shut off from those mean men over in the Sahel, the junta. Yeah, they said, y'all, if y'all want this, you're going to pay for it fairly. Isn't that crazy? The fit that they're throwing. The fit that they are throwing. Because now they don't want to pay the fair market value. Why is that? Well, that's the story of white supremacy. That's the story of vanity. Oh, black folks are always asking for a hookup, a discount. Yeah, we are. Because you want to know why? Because you take all this stuff from Africa for free. And at least we're giving you compensation of something fair. Deflections. And what they hate in this time is that as we're talking about this, they know that a lot of our people on the continent are listening and they're saying, dang, we've been screwed for that long? Yes, you have. That's what's happened. I'm sorry. That's what's happened. See, what's happening is that the mindset is flipping. This is a reverse of the curses. Oh, we can actually control our own resources. Yes. You can now begin to create the wealth that you should have had, the wealth that should have been in your hands to begin with. And what did they start to do? They started to regulate. Remember, they're regulating. They're regulating their resources, their minerals. They're regulating their worth. What is happening here in the United States? Garth, what are they doing instead of regulating? What's been their key word?
Give me a set. Instead of regulated, they've been Propagating,
Deregulating.
deregulating. There you go.
Yes,
The opposite of regulate.
yeah, exactly.
The
And what are they
opposite of
doing
Warren
now?
G and Nate Dogg.
Remember, folks could have been warned with NOAA services, right? They cut NOAA. They cut the NOAA funding.
Is that
So
the
all
weather
these,
apparatus or something? The
yeah,
weather
that was their
reporting?
weather
Yeah.
service, National Oceanic Atmospheric Agency, I believe. Don't quote me on that. This is what you see. And now people are getting mad at the Trump administration because they're trying to say it's not political. It is. Anytime you cut a government agency, no, that's political. Because it's the political party that went in there and cut and made the cuts.
Yeah, being a poli-sci major, that's their ethos. We don't want big government or any other, entity. Well, I don't know if that entity that you're talking about was a government agency, but I'm pretty sure it was, and they just want to cut everything. That's like the ideology of a Republican, less government, more private rights, so to speak. But all that really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not saying that as being like a nihilist or anything, because they don't follow it. It's just all theory and basically principles that they don't follow themselves. It's just basically a framework for everyone else to follow or to believe. They don't actually believe it. This place has always been a corporation.
Mm-hmm. And the corporation is liquidating. It starts with the government, and then it does what? It ends with the people. Resources, when you think it actually matters, actually the resources don't matter. It's always been the people that matter. It's always the people.
Essentially, that's what politics is: who gets what, where, when, and why. That's what my one professor told us, which was a good definition to pretty much break it down as to what politics really are.
Absolutely. Brother J0, I checked the email. I'm going to see if I can. Before I play this from Brother J0. Okay, atmospheric. There you go. Yeah, thank you. Oceanic Atmospheric Agency. Yep. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for fact checking me, Sister Bonnie. Yeah, everything is government funded. So when you put in a government, it's a Republican government, it's to liquidate. You had a government to spend, and now you have a government to liquidate. It's still the same government. It's still the same bird. But people want to act like, oh, no, that's not the truth. That's not the case. Let me go ahead here. I want to show you this. Shout out to J0. Let me, these Instagram videos, they don't let you blow it on up. So let's just go here.
Oh, come on! Valentina, I'm sorry, you have to go on without me. I'm not gonna leave you behind. Just do it, please.
Eduardo?
I'm okay. And it's Edward.
What? Eduardo, ¿estás bien?
This is America. We speak English here, okay?
What?
You know, Valentine, you should really carry around your papers because you never know when you're going to need them to prove you're a U.S. citizen.
I am a U.S. citizen.
Then why were you running?
Because I was trying to help you escape because you didn't have papers, but I guess now you do. Hey, Edward, seems like you need a drink to cool off.
Oh, no, thanks. I only drink Coca-Cola.
Oh my God. You're one of them.
I'm what?
A self-hating Latino.
I have a taser. Hands where I can see him. Hey, man, she's not from here. Look at me. I have papers.
That's a lie.
Don't move. Hey, man, I'm one of you, okay? I'll help you catch all these illegals, right? I'll be like a slave catcher, huh?
Who had the worst Super Bowl halftime show?
Kendrick Lamar. My wife's black.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh man, that just what's that image of, because I remember that image, I forgot whose channel, but they showed whatever they called the Portuguese who assimilated, the Portuguese and blacks that assimilated and also helped, foster, basically inquisitors for Star Wars fans. And that's what that reminded me of, that he said, oh, help. And he has his papers now, and he has good standing. And he'll be a tool of the state. That's what was my first initial thought.
Well, remember, that was something, I bring that on up because you got to remember, which is, look, they said it. They obviously did that skit. I don't see any black person, having any type of coercion or anything else in that. Just saying. They did that skit. And now here it is.
Fair use.
Yeah, fair use. Thank you, brother J0. I pray that, my channel survives today. Because we're going to go to the meat and potatoes right here. I just shared this one. It's in the chat. And I have to, it's not funny because the reality is, now that was a really good video. Thank you, brother J0, for that. I'll share that in the chat so you all can see. Because this is another tool of deception. Because they want to see how long they can keep the masses. Oh boy, here comes that troublemaker from across the continent.
No, the storms. The storm Chantel has arrived. She's been plaguing America.
Didn't we have a hurricane or tropical storm Chantel earlier?
Yep, tropical storm Chantel.
I blew it like a hurricane. Shalom, everybody. I'm on the London bus right now, so yeah, I'm gonna be getting off because.
Well, then you don't want to be commenting on this one because this thing goes directly to the heart of Prince Andrew.
Oh, yeah, it does implicate Prince Andrew.
Yeah. So I have this article in here. This is from The Wired. Let me read this. I have to blow this on up. They really don't make these articles very user-friendly. Dhruv Meritra. Man, why does that sound like What does that sound like? Something from Despicable Me. Yes, they will catch criminal. Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It says here the FBI's Jeffrey Epstein prison video had nearly 3 minutes cut out. Yo, they were like, it's a 60-second change. Come on, Sister Juke. What? And they were adamant about lying about that literally last week. Well, the video, it loops and elapses and it loops and elapses. And this has been happening since for about 2 decades.
Upon further review, we were able to go deep into the digital footprint that we already obfuscated and found out that the video was much longer than we presented or, told the public about. So we're going to continue to gaslight people about this story to see who's apathetic about wickedness.
Exactly. We're testing the people. Are you going to basically, how distracted are you? How distracted are you in this countdown? Are you just going to go through these 50 days on cruise control of mental relaxation? Don't say anything to me. I gotta de-stress. I gotta decompress. Wickedness can only happen when the righteous fail to do and speak up against wickedness. That's the curse of the nation. Hey, as long as I get paid in this wickedness, that's the curse of a nation. Hey, as long as it doesn't affect me, that's the curse of a nation. Metadata from the raw Epstein video shows approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds were removed from one of 2 stitched together clips. These folks intentionally cut the footage. The cut starts right at the missing minute. Come on now. Newly uncovered metadata reveals that nearly 3 minutes of footage were cut from the U.S. Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation, described as full raw surveillance video. From the only functioning camera near Jeffrey Epstein's prison cell the night before he was found dead. The video was released last week as part of the Trump administration's commitment to fully investigate Epstein's 2019 death, but instead has raised new questions about how the footage was edited and assembled. Wait a second. According to my calculations, I think that when was Biden in office? Must have been 2019, because Trump blames Biden for everything.
Zoink, Scoob! This is like a conspiracy. All right. It's like Scooby Doo.
Jankies.
Man, they think we stupid. What, you think we ignorant or something? Because we ignorant? Come on now. Oh, my goodness. 2019. Yo, if y'all don't know, let me spell this out. Trump was in office when Jeffrey Epstein was murked, if he was murked.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't Biden. That was Trump. That was the orange man who was still in office. Up, case closed. Now delete the footage. Delete the footage.
The Fanta Fizz.
And delete all the people who deleted the footage. And delete all those people that deleted the people that deleted the footage. Now delete
It's
those
never
people.
gonna be it's never gonna be a closed circuit, you know that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Man, this it's funny, but it's really not funny. This is actually the saddest thing that I've ever read. The saddest thing. Let me blow this up so you all can see this. The video was released last week as part of the Trump administration's commitment, underlying commitment, to fully investigate Epstein's 2019 death. But instead,
They literally underlined it.
Not the footage.
Are you for real?
There's nothing to see.
Well, apparently, gang, it looks like the whole story has been corroborated by the same people who are lying to you.
The ones that did it are the ones that telling you not to worry about it. Oh my goodness.
Seems like old man Uncle Sam is now a suspect, gang.
You need to do voices, I'm telling you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, because, you know, our Savior, Mr. Trump, our Lord and Savior, he'll never lie to us. He don't lie. He only said it was a minute, but, you know, it turned out to be 2 minutes and 53 seconds where nobody's perfect. It wasn't like it was 5 minutes or an hour.
Well, according to my mathematics skills, I mean, you're just rounding up basically to the 2 minutes. We just round it up, so it's kind of close. So I see no problem with it.
Oh, goodness.
I don't think that's how that works.
You know, in basic mathematical calculation, I see where Trump is going with this. You got the 2, remove the 3. You got the 5, remove the 7. And yeah, that's about a minute.
Yep. Then you take the common denominator, divide that by the numerator, and then you get the same amount. So
listen, Brother Garth, you got to understand. Albert Einstein had the theory of relativity, so it's all relative. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 53 seconds is all the same. Come on now.
Come on now, right? It don't really matter.
Oh.
You lot are crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yo, they thought that they were real slick too. They thought that they were real slick. They said, here's this. Wired previously reported that the video had been stitched together in Adobe Premiere Pro from 2 video files, contradicting the Justice Department's claim that it was raw footage. Yo, Adobe Premiere Pro, that's all they got? That's all they got. No wonder they couldn't make that look. They didn't have no type of transitions in that bad boy from the cut. You know, at least have like a little, you know, floating image or a smoke image. Make it look kind of.
Look here, gang. It looks like they've been messing with the technological apparatus to make it seem like it's a ghost, but it's not really a ghost.
With the timestamp. With the timestamp. It's about a minute. With the timestamp. Do you think they're going to believe that lie?
believe anything they're told.
Yeah, that's what they think. They think that American people are stupid. Really, they do.
Jinkies, Fred, wouldn't it be weird that they've already put someone in jail saying that they're an accomplice, but they're saying that the list is fake? Her last name is Maxwell.
Yeah, and now you had Congress voted to not have her share the list. But I thought there's no list. So how can she share something that there's no list?
But Boondocks, but Ed Wonsler and the other guy, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. I don't know if I said that right.
It's the unknown unknown, right? It's the unknown unknowns. Oh my goodness! Then they went to the what movie was that?
Pulp Fiction. It was Pulp Fiction. I think they were making fun of Pulp Fiction, but I don't know the reference from Boondocks.
Got rid of the evidence. So they got rid of. Oh my goodness! And it's not funny, but that just goes to show what that's actually showing to the whole world. There's a psychology to this. I'm sorry people don't want to hear about this psychology, but there's actually a psychology. If you cannot think on your own, you are an animal. And the whole psychology is this. Let's think about this. Because this is even in today's psychological terminology. Why did the United States drop the atomic bomb? Not once, but twice. On Japan.
It was to let people know that they have the power to do whatever they want.
That was one of the cases, but that wasn't actually the case. There was a psychological element to that. Because what were they trying to say that made it okay to use such a destructive element? Yeah, Mick Jagger, it's not that Japan wouldn't quit. No, you know, in war, you're not going to quit. But they gave the psychological preparation to that. You're dealing with a bunch of animals that cannot logically process anything. You're dealing with them that so much so, they're just going to fight to the death as kamikaze pilots because they are so radical that you can't do anything to engage with them other than drop this weapon.
Actually, you know, I was going to say that it turns out that the Japanese were actually giving up. I can't remember what the name of the general who basically blasted the government, that said, basically he said there was no reason to drop the bomb at all. They were actually giving up.
Yeah, the indications were that, but they still wanted to use the weapon. Don't get that twisted.
I know. America wanted to use the weapon.
Yeah, but where I'm going with this analysis is that you have a people that has been deemed, right, in the propaganda, in the news around the world. They're reading the newspapers, they're hearing the broadcast, they're seeing the images, right? So now they're becoming psychologically engaged that the only thing that we can do to address them is to
put them down
destroy,
like animals.
annihilate. Exactly. It's to perform an act of that was literally a flash of genocide. 2 times.
Yeah, and they
Because why?
basically had issues after, years after.
Exactly. Because why? Because they had to show that they were so debased that they were just basically animals.
Where have we seen that kind of form of propaganda?
Yes.
So many other. I mean, there's so many other instances, but I love the work that Brother Karras does here, and I love his channel. So I'll keep him to myself. But I mean, there was World War II that happened.
Yes.
Vietnam.
Because why? Because all this is it's a setup. I told you that. I don't care if you want to come on in here talking about, oh, our whole government's corrupt. Man, we know it's corrupt. How do you think this government was founded? Do you think government was founded because, black people just wanted to come on over and help do things for free, because we
immigrate
for free, yeah, exactly. That's what they want to change that over to CRT. Why do you think?
We happen to have just immigrated to this for better work opportunities. And worked ourselves to the flesh, not even the flesh, to the muscle dropped off the bone.
We could have left at any time, but you know what? We had to make sure that it was the owner's responsibility to make sure, but we had to fill the quota for the owner.
It gave us structure, gave us a place to live. Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus. Man, don't talk about Uncle. We had some Uncle Ruckuses coming through the community.
You really do.
Listen, but that's the whole thing. And you have literally national leaders on the continent that are Uncle Ruckuses. And they're literally about to get flamed.
Actually, I forgot who it was, but I saw one African leader wear a MAGA hat. I forgot who
that was Gabon. That was Gabon.
Oh, Gabon. Yeah, you're right. Gabon. Yes, he was wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He might as well just resign. He might as well just have resigned on the way home on that airplane.
What the?
He might as well just resign.
I don't even know where to begin with some of these leaders. They need their head checked. It's like you can't even read the room anymore.
You want to know what though? You got to remember. Think about what they're probably baited into. Hey, we want to have a new direction for Africa. Hey, we want to make sure that we are doing trade and all. They give them lies. They give them lies. Hey, we're not going to treat you all like how we treated you all for the last 400, 500 years.
Well, and then the fact that you believe that still.
They believe it. That's the problem. Yeah, they believe it. But.
Well, that's stupid then, isn't it?
Well, but you got to also remember they have to believe a lie, because you also have to understand on the other end of the spectrum is, they're either going to get down with Traore, which they don't, because that actually means that you actually have to do something for the people. And you also have to remember a lot of these nations, they're in power as puppets. So they don't want to be deleted.
And they don't, quite frankly, they don't want to share power either. If we're going to be honest, there's always going to be a sense of I'm better than you. I might not be. It's the same mentality that we see with these POCs. I'm better as long as I'm not you. And I don't know if you guys talked about it, because I literally just came on, obviously, but I don't know if you guys talked about it, but now we're seeing the Asians are really getting theirs now. They're getting dragged up. And it's like some of them are starting to show their anxiety. And it's like the problem with this is that you guys thought that you were white. You're paler. And the funny thing is, they're not actually.
They were on TikTok. Don't get that twisted. They were literally on TikTok, and they were saying that really doesn't apply to us because
no, they're realizing now. They're realizing now. But the thing is that, I mean, there's so much that's like, With them, they're more problematic than the Latinos. They really are. At least with the Latinos, they have done something, not much, but they have done something. But the Asians, they have done absolutely nothing. They don't even fight for their own selves.
They're an easy group to get rid of. I told you, they got literally pistol whipped into submission. They got beat so bad that they became a Western slave. And I hate to say it that way, but man, you see what I'm saying? They got regionally butt broken. They got regionally butt broken.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What happened?
Yeah.
that was real raw. I'm not gonna lie.
It was. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
The truth needs to be said.
They said America, ran in the door with the 4-4. All you heard was
Uncle Sam,
America don't hit me no more.
I didn't hear anything that just happened. You guys just, I think I cut out for like about 20 seconds, 15 seconds.
It's probably because, the monitors, over on YouTube are probably in that H-1B, like, yo,
what
talking about us?
What is going on here?
They're talking about us.
Yes.
Funnel the viewers down. Everybody's going to start getting cut off. We're just going to cut you down to about 150. All right. So we just going to have to wait for folks to get back into this.
The funny thing is, is that they're starting to realize that there's some of them that are coming out that are like, they're so sorely displeased with the lack of response or even the lack of preparedness, that why is it we don't do anything? Because there have been some who have actually been saying we need to, what are we doing? But it's a tiny little speck, a tiny drop in a vast ocean of them that don't do nothing because they believe. And one woman turned around and said, I think she said she's Vietnamese and she's married to a black man, but she said they actually believe, Asians believe that they're white. They've been so mind manipulated into believing that they are white, or literally as close as white as you can possibly get. Now, in terms of their complexion, you could say that, but then that's even problematic in itself, because what most people might not understand is that even in their cosmetics and their skincare, they put bleaching agents in their skincare, and they've been bleaching their own people, especially with the Koreans. So they don't, because like if you go back 50 years ago, they didn't look like how they look like now. They looked more like how the Hispanics look like, but now they're so bright and white, they look like they were washed with Ariel or something. I don't know. But
I mean, it's kind of different between like the people like Thailand and Vietnam and Cambodia. Those people have more color.
Yes.
And I'm not here to disparage Asians.
We're not.
It's not. But you also have to understand, they have literally been affected to the point to where it's a mechanism for survival. That's an abuse mechanism.
Yeah.
It's an abuse mechanism. I don't want to be abused any further, so I'm just going to sit out here in the corner. That's when you
rocking.
If you beat somebody so bad, literally, you beat that person so bad, not only do they bow out, but they have been so traumatically abused that all they can think about is, if I have that abuse happen, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Or get deleted. And don't think that won't affect, or that can't affect any one of us. No, that can.
I agree.
The Most High, the blessing is the Most High is protecting his people from that, because they really can't do what they want to do with us anymore. As we had said, the curses have reversed. So now they now have to go after their recent victims, right?
Mhm.
So if you've already been victimized and the victimizer is facing defeat, they're going to have to go after the victims that are still not empowered or strong enough to say, you know what?
No,
We
get
have
off
to
me.
stand up against. We have to stand up against this. We can't be abused by this.
Mhm.
And they don't have that power.
They don't.
The reality is, they know that we have the power as a people. I mean, look, when we literally had just said, no, we're just not even going to worry about it. We're just going to sit on out. We're just going to. They actually
That terrified them.
that terrified the oppressive class.
Mhm.
Just by
Yes.
saying we don't want to engage. Why don't you want to engage? So this is from the Los Angeles Public Press. I've really never heard of them, but you know, I'm just giving you this article. ICE enforcement affects Vietnamese, Cambodian communities in SoCal. Southeast Asian immigrants are deported at 3 to 5 times the rate of other communities due to prior criminal convictions in LA and Orange County. Businesses are seeing 70% revenue drops as vendors stay home. This is affecting their economics. This is by Jaira Dang as of last week's July 7th or July 9th. This is from a cafe deli shop. So it says John was born in a refugee camp in Thailand in the summer of 1973 after his family fled the civil war in Cambodia. 5 years later, they resettled in California, where his parents worked alongside migrant farm workers and picking produce in the fields of the Central Valley. John said his parents, accustomed to country life, struggled to raise their children in cities like San Diego and Modesta. They didn't know how to raise us, he added. John, identified by his middle name because of his immigration status, grew up in poverty and started stealing money at a young age and later joined a Cambodian gang. We were being picked up or picked on by Americans, said John. We felt we had to bear it together. At 21, an argument turned deadly when John shot and deleted, a 17-year-old. John served 27 years in prison and was released on parole in 2021. In the past 4 years, he reformed his life, speaking openly about his past to deter the other young men from gang culture. Still, he continues to pay for the murder he committed 3 decades ago. As a non-citizen permanent resident, John's status was revoked when he was found guilty of second-degree murder. They're trying to deport me to a country that I've never been to, said the 52-year-old. Yeah, it's happening to the Asian community.
They were warned, but they didn't want to do anything. Everybody was warned, and they didn't care. I remember the TikTok videos of them, all of them coming at black people, saying you're alarmists, laughing, kicking, and hollering, and saying the most disgustingly abominable things. We remember it all. And it's like, I don't understand. It's like, you guys think you can say and do whatever, and we are your mules for you to just keep on keeping on. No, there was a cutoff point. This is it.
Well,
you want help? Do it yourself.
Sister Chantel, you have to remember they felt emboldened after Biden passed those bills and then those psyops against them. Where, I mean, was it like 2020 or 2021 he passed that bill?
I think it was 2021, yeah.
Where they were just like stories of them being mistreated and whatnot, and then they pass the protection, and then all of a sudden those protections are no longer, valid and null and void from this administration. So they thought they were going to be protected.
Well,
They thought it
but
wasn't going to touch them.
they really did think that. And it's like, now it's like, because they have all been accustomed, and I say all of them, from the lightest shade to the darkest shade of them, have all been accustomed to saying and getting what they want. And our people have literally just jumped at it, because we always thought, you know what? We need to do this for everybody, not just for us, but everybody. We're all in this together. That's the mentality of our people. We've always, and the funny thing is, it's not a bad thing that we've done, because that is what the Most High has put in us. As I've said before, and I know that Jacob has said this as well, we are the ambassador race. And I know somebody else is in the chat, I can't remember who it was, but somebody else said the same thing. We're an ambassador people. We are his ambassadors on this earth. And it is our right to rule. And to rule, we have to set an example. So when you rule, you don't rule just to because, like, and this is where I think a lot of camps don't understand. You have to rule and do what is best for the people, all of the people, not just for you and yours, but for everybody else. Yes, you and yours get first dibs or whatever, but you still have to do what is righteous by all your subjects. And if we are the rulers of this earth and there are others in this world with us, we still have to do what is right by them. And so we did that, but now that it's gotten to the point where they took advantage of that. And I know that this is the Holy Spirit that has moved on all of us to be like, nah, you go and do it yourself. Go and do it. We're done. We're fed up. And it's like, now they're frantic, because at first when we were saying it, they thought, oh yeah, they've always said this, because we have. And then we trudge on, and we're like, you know what, we have to do this because we're still living here, we're still underneath their rulership. So if it affects all of us, but we have now realized, you know what's the worst they could do to us? We're at the bottom, so it's not going to really affect us much. We know how to go through hardship. We know how to look after our own families as well as communities. We're the only one that actually has a community. They don't. We argue and we bitter because we're siblings, but we know, like, look how the whole world the diasporan world dropped and said, not this man. And now it's like, that for me, when I saw that, my heart beat so much, like, wow, thank you, Father. And I knew, because I even said it on the channel here a few times, I can't remember when it was, but I said I would not be surprised if after we've all come together, there was this camaraderie, everybody realized, you know what, we got to protect this man. I knew they were going to come out and try to pay these freaking idiots with starting off the diaspora wars again. I can't stand it. I can't stand the whole.
We could see it coming, honestly. Yeah.
Of course, and I'm not against FBA, but at the end of the day, you can't stand alone. You can't. You're gonna pick out a few idiots from wherever they came from to literally just use those as a red herring to say, yeah, we're all, with this, that, and the other. Well, then guess what happens? If the rest of the diaspora, if Africa literally turns their back on you, if all of us outside the US, right, and Africa says, okay, fine, we'll leave you to it then, what do you think would happen?
Mm-hmm.
Where would you run to? Oh, I'm going to stay here. Stay here, which part? You ain't going to want to stay here. And yes, flee. Because you're going to want to do that. You know what? My church used to teach us, you have to flee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to be, if you know that you're in the, so if your numbers dwindle and you see your numbers dwindling, you are not going to stay in a place where your numbers have dwindled. You will be inevitably deleted. You will. That is your get out of Dodge moment. We just have not had to experience that yet. Oh, it's coming, but you haven't had to experience it yet. And that's where a lot of folks, in these other channels, we're foundational. Man, they're drinking the Kool-Aid. And they're thinking that the delusion is a lot of our people are going to sit and be stupid.
Why would you want to stay in this land?
And the reality is that a lot of our people are actually very educated. They analyze very well. They ask a lot of great questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one of those things of it's the obvious and it's the historical. Well, historically speaking, what has happened? And then that's when people shut up.
Yeah.
They can't get past what has happened. So if you're telling me that we're going to be okay, and if you're telling me that we're going to be this, and if they're telling me that we're going to be that, well, but see, all of this stuff now, remember, you had a lot of folks in the Asian community. Remember back in 2022, 2023, right? You had that with Biden. Biden had said, you had a South Asian discrimination bill, and all the Asians were hating and discriminating like crazy on us. And all we did, we said, hold on, just wait, watch, calm down. They're not doing that anymore. No. Because they don't have the luxury to do that anymore, because they know that they don't have any more allies.
No, they burnt their bridges.
They burnt their bridges, exactly. They don't have the allies. Do you think that they want them back in Southeast Asia? No. Why? Why would they want them back, man? You just saw the one video. Shout out to Brother J0. You just saw the one video I had playing. You're going to bring back that mindset, and we're moving on. If you didn't know, what BRICS was doing back last week, they're literally telling the whole world, we're moving on. If you don't know, that's why Trump was talking about the 500% tariffs and all that other nonsense. Because why? Because BRICS said they're moving on. Because why? Now you understand it's not 50 days. I always say 50 days for what? I believe that they know what's going to end up happening, because you have to understand, even Department of Treasury, they have their own intelligence. Everything has intelligence, even energy, all their intelligence. Oh, they're going to do something. What are they going to do? They may have their system on in probably, 90, 100, 20 days. They have intel on that. They have their spies in that. That's what happens. They have their why? Because that's a direct threat to the USD. If you have a multilateral system that is outside of SWIFT, that is literally a direct assault on the USD. So now what are they doing? They're now going to weaponize the USD. So they're going to try to fight fire with weaponizing the USD, which is then going to drive nations to get rid of their USD faster. Does that make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
It's basically, in a lack of a better terms, you want to still have blood money as your standard of currency.
That's what's happening.
They're grasping.
They're grasping, exactly. They don't.
Yeah, it's the same playbook that they're reading from their forefathers, from their ancestors. They've been doing this all the way since Rome.
Yes.
Since Greece. They haven't changed. They can't change. They lack imagination. They can't think outside the box.
They do not know what to do next. And because they don't know what to do next, it's a struggle. They are on the struggle. And you got to remember, when they panic, they get violent.
They do.
They get violent. That's the only way that they know how to communicate. And so, do you not think that Asia knows? Do you not think that Russia knows? Do you not think that Africa knows? Okay, just please, just put the economic squeeze on them. Squeeze them economically. Squeeze them economically. They're going to get violent.
Mm-hmm.
And when
First
they
they'll
get
be in the
violent,
streets.
and when they get violent, oh, you should have been a little bit more civilized. The game is being turned on them.
Yep, their own folly and pride and vanity is being used against them, and they literally put someone in office. I'm not going to say put because, it's all, contrived, but they have the best person in office at this time for a time like this where they are too tone deaf to understand that they are being cut off. They just want to hear. They just want to hear what they're, they just want to hear the same old story about they're the best, they're number one, and everyone has to bow down to them.
Remember, this is coming from out of their mouths. We regret voting for Trump. Why do you regret that now, almost 6 months into his term? We regret it because we're becoming poor. That's what's coming out of their mouths.
Can I read something?
Go ahead.
Okay, because this is just perfect. And it shall come. This is Isaiah 14, verse. I'm starting from verse 4. So Isaiah 14, verse 4 onwards. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Yahuwah hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. Like hell is coming for you. They're waiting for you with open arms. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones, and all the kings of the nations. All these men who may not have made it into a certain place, who have made it into a certain place, they're waiting for you to come down. For all the ones that you have literally destroyed, deleted for your own ambitions. All they that speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy voiles, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahuwah. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And when you go on to read Isaiah 47, where it says that you say that you call yourselves I am, that none seeth me, that you want to say that you are the Most High, but you didn't even understand from yesteryear. You could not even understand what is happening in these latter days. Like the world is looking and saying, what is going on with you? How is it you've become so weak now? There's like, we're literally, do you know what we're seeing? We are seeing on the mega stage the same fall of Caesar. And every nation is coming with their little sword or their little knife, their little juki, and they're going to come and they're going to cut you. Death by 1,000 cuts. That's what awaits America. And they're going to take portions of you and divide it unto themselves. That is what's coming to you. And I, and along with all the rest of my people, cannot wait for your judgment to reach you. You're disgusting. Sorry.
Yeah, and
Yeah, the
also
judgment's
Isaiah,
happening.
you guys
Go ahead.
also read Isaiah 19, and I read it a while ago, and I realized Isaiah 19 is a dual prophecy, like you said, and it's basically also, especially where it says, "I'll have mystery, or Egyptian fight against Egyptian," and that's also going to happen here too. People are going to start fighting against one another.
Yeah, Egypt is going to start fighting against Egypt, and it's not just it's people always try to give you that weak analogy. Oh, that means it's physical Egypt. No, actually, the land of physical Egypt was actually Mizraim, Mizr. But Egypt is a system of bondage. That's the system of bondage.
And Karis, don't think. Look, they know that. They're not stupid. They know. They just like to gaslight. These people have been sat up here again, like it says in Isaiah 47. You knew you had these things. They've been studying our word for over 2,000 years, from the time of the Greeks, when they started putting their images, right, as we seen in Maccabees. Do you think they didn't understand the implications? I tell you how you know that they know, because they took out certain books. They took out the Apocrypha, and they tried to twist certain phrases in the King James Version of the 66 books that they did allow. They twisted it. They twist, and then they teach. Listen, you can't teach lies without first knowing the truth. In order for you to understand how to combat the lie, you have to first know the truth. They know the truth. They know it's them, and they understand the spiritual aspects of this.
Exactly, Sister Chantel. Not to change subjects, but I want you. Yesterday or the other day, I was talking about Trump on the soccer stage. We call it soccer here. Football, FIFA.
Humbug.
And I know that. Honestly, here's the reality. I told you I'm a Chelsea fan. I've said that. Sister Chantel and I had a discussion regarding that, because I said I need to see Chelsea's wharf when I visited with her 2 years ago. And she said, "Well, when do you want to go there? You need to go to where Arsenal's at." That was her team. And
Arsenal, the Gunners.
And the reality is that what you actually had, it wasn't just the disrespect for the Chelsea club. It was actually disrespect for the English Premier League and all other soccer clubs there in England, or in English football. Because Chelsea is a very, I would say, multi-racial. And again, the captain, Reece James, he's black. He's black. I believe he is of Caribbean descent, if I'm not mistaken. But you have a lot of folks on the team that are of some sort of Caribbean or African ethnicity, and it is like if you have somebody that's won the Olympics, you don't have the president of that country that's hosting the Olympics join in on your celebration. It's actually totally disrespectful. And that disrespect, it was to, exalt themselves on the world scene. Because why? Because they've lost the luster. They've lost the luster. When I talk about neo-diplomacy and things of that nature. Support NeoDiplomacy.com. I'm teaching people how to engage on the continent. I'm teaching people how to not just engage for yourself, but to create opportunities for others. You know, when they basically situated themselves from not being that international standard, and there is a void. There is literally a diplomatic void. You want to know why there's a diplomatic void? Because they are not able to have the influence necessary to get contracts anymore. They don't have it like that anymore.
No.
And the reality is that they're so prideful that even their, you know, their black-faced Negroes, they're speaking the same lingo as their taskmasters, and they are losing that battle.
Michael Langley.
Yeah, for real. They're losing that battle. And when they're losing that battle, they're like, whatever, we tried. Trying to bring in a white guy. And they're going to continue to lose the battle.
It's when they bring in the white guy, that's when it becomes more violent.
Exactly. Because they've lost the battle.
The soft power's gone, so we got to hit them with the hammer now.
Listen, I can't even tell you all the things that I'm working on over on the continent. But let me tell you, they lost the battle.
We can see they've lost it. Look, they think what they like to portray is that they still have some standing in there, and that's only because they're going by the leaders. But the leaders ain't gonna be there forever. You don't go by the leadership, you go by the people. Because once the people, if you don't have the hearts and minds of the people, you're done. Those leaders are not going to be in there for very long. They know this as well. They know this. And if they're still counting on them having, if the West is still counting on having access based on the fact that they can still buy off leadership, then you're cooked. Because quite frankly, the young people have had enough. They understand it's a better way.
But here's the problem. What other playbook do they have?
None.
They don't have any playbook. And they're not creative enough to understand, because all they've done is they've literally boxed themselves in to where they actually have to treat people as equals. Look, if you're a people that don't understand empathy or sympathy, you're not going to be able to navigate. We've been saying this.
They already said empathy is weakness.
Yes, they're already losing. I've told you, they're losing. They have lost. It's now not only have they're losing and they've lost. The reality is they do not have now the economic wherewithal to do anything else. As I have stated time and time again, the reason that they're trying to fight in Ukraine, the reason that they're trying to fight China via numerous proxies, which is going to be Taiwan, Iran, the Houthis, is because if they think that they can neutralize other opponents from Africa, that they'll win the chess match of Africa. And really, that's just a lie. Because now even the people on the continent are saying, nah, we really don't want to engage with you like that, because we understand who you are. We see you. We see who you are. We know who you are. Your mask is off. Well, if you want to engage with us, then tell us how you're going to treat and fairly provide for and support African Americans. Tell us how you're going to repair and restore that relationship. Tell us how you're going to support reparations and literally an economy that is struggling. This economy is struggling. This economy is done. So what are they trying to do? Now they have to fight. That was the whole argument.
Do you, when you say this economy is done, are you referring to American economy? Because
honestly, I'm thinking this. It's more than America's economy. It's really their global position, their global power.
Yeah, because this country is done as well. France is done. France is definitely done. Oh my gosh. Without Africa, it's done. It's over. Germany, well, don't know what to say about that.
Yeah,
the West is done.
Yeah, this place is pretty much cooked. And you could tell that it was cooked because they thought that they could actually fix things on their own. But now they know that, look, this is their ultimate plan. We can't destroy you because the Most High knows that they can't destroy us. But now we have to get rid of you in the most painful way. And obviously get rid of means they have to move us on out of here in a very painful way. We're not allowed to destroy you, but we're going to start making you very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you know
because
how, go ahead.
I was going to say it's also trying. They're still trying to get us to. Well, this is Balaam, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We need to get them to curse themselves.
Bingo.
And it's not really working. It's not working beyond what they've already done. We are where we are, but they still. It's an act of desperation because even though yes, you still have a lot of us that are engaged in whatever, but their punishment is so severe upon them that they need action. They need it to be they won't make America great again. They need it to revert back to how it was. The constant keeping us in a cursed state is not working because the Most High is like, I don't care what you try to do, because I told my people after this time, that nation I'm going to judge. And sometimes another thing that we need to also understand is that when it says that nation, it doesn't always mean the specific location. It also means in reference to that nation, because remember, he wasn't talking to just Judah. He was talking to the whole of Israel. And in fact, he was talking to Abraham regarding his descendants. And he said, he told them they're going to be taken and they're going to be scattered, just like the Most High told our ancestors at the foot of the mountain, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. He gave the instructions and told Moses, tell them. And Moses told them, if this is what you're going to do, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be separated from each other. You're going to be spread out across all nations. And these nations, that ethnos, that ethnicity, that ethnic group who has done this to you, I'm going to do what I'm going to do to them. This is why wherever they go, you can have them pick up and relocate somewhere else. And guess what? They're causing aggro there. You can have what's going on in Spain, what's going on in Italy, what's going on in Germany, what's going on here. These people they're being tormented and they understand, but they're not going to tell you why, because they know, they know. in their hearts that they're being judged for all the evils. And that's why they keep saying things like, oh, you can't judge us based on our, have you noticed they're not saying that too much anymore? Do you know why they're not saying that anymore? Because we don't need to judge you based on your ancestors. You're doing a beautiful job of being just as wicked yourself right now. And the Most High held his hand and was like, okay, I ain't going to judge you based on your ancestors. I'm going to let you continue until your wickedness reach me over your own ancestors. See, your ancestors, they showed you what they did. So you've got no excuse. You are doing worse than them because you know better than them. As a lot of them like to say, oh, well, they didn't know any better back then because the understanding of this, that, and the other was completely different from our understanding. And I'm like, oh, so they understood very well that they did not want to be slaves in this country, which is why they took which is why they took themselves, over to your place, right? To America, to why? To be free of being what they called and thought was slavery to them. So even just a small little tidbit of servitude, of just paying your flipping taxes, to them that felt like slavery. So if they understood that for them, why could they not understand that for us? So all these people today saying, well, they didn't understand that. Boo, you're rubbish for saying that. I hate stupid people, you know, Karis. Ignorance is one thing, but stupidity gets me so riled up. And it's not that do you know what? I don't even know if I can call them stupid. No, I will call them stupid. You're stupid for thinking that we're stupid. That's the stupidity of you, is that you think everybody thinks as dumb as you. The rest of the world ain't dumb as you. The rest of the world has woken up to you. And Black people in particular, we told all of you what was going to happen. You didn't want to listen. And guess who's the smartest people on the earth right now? Ain't you, ain't them. It's us.
Well, let me tell you, usually the people that are able to be in control of their resources are usually the smart people, right? If you're a dummy, you don't have control of your resources, unfortunately. And so the reality is, and I wanted to show this real quick before we wrap this on up for the day, for today. You know, we were talking about the ultimatum, right? The deadline. This comes out yesterday, and it says, you know, Brazen Vlad. I think I had the article in the chat. Yep, I did. Kremlin mocks Trump's 50-day deadline, and unfazed Putin may demand more Ukrainian territory over sanctions threats. So he's like, all right, you want to talk about this? I got something for you. Kremlin has mocked Donald Trump's 50-day peace deadline and may now demand even more Ukrainian territory instead of laying down arms. Vladimir Putin will instead keep terrorizing Ukrainian civil. Yeah, okay. Well, we can see the bias on that one. And, you know, Putin also appears unfazed by Trump's threats of sanctions and decision to arm Ukraine with billions of dollars worth of long-range weapons. Trump on Monday vowed to slap a brutal 100% tariff on Russia if Moscow did not reach a peace agreement with Ukraine within 50 days. It doesn't matter. Dismissing the president's ultimatum, Russian foreign minister said, "We, of course, want to understand what is behind the statement, 50 days. It used to be 24 hours. It used to be 100 days. We have been through all of this, and we really want to understand what motivates the president of the United States." Yeah, I think most of the world does, too. Lavrov suggested Trump's move was simply driven by indecent pressure from the European Union. Sources familiar with the internal workings of the Kremlin said that Putin would not end the war under pressure from the West and believes the economy is strong enough to weather any additional economic measures. Basically, your sanctions aren't going to work. And, literally, we just said that. They've already, insulated themselves from the sanctions. Man, they got China. They got Africa. What else?
They've been
I
preparing.
mean, you know
They
what I'm
were
saying?
getting
Like,
on
what
with
else?
everything.
Yeah, what
Do you
else?
want to know what's really funny though, Karis, is they've been getting both Russia and China have been they've been making sure that they have gold in
Yeah,
reserves, like a lot of it. And I believe that it's probably going to be the currency in which that they're going to be working alongside Africa.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's
Because
going to shut the West out.
and what does that do for the West if you have a gold standard for currency? Hyperinflation overnight.
Mhm.
Hyperinflation overnight.
Do you remember we were talking about the Queen or the King's carriage, that gold carriage?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, somebody's gonna have to chip away at that.
They're about to melt that
Melt it down. Yeah, melt it down, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring it to me. Actually, let me just ride home
Or
back.
or all those artifacts and everything else that they stole from Africa.
Yeah,
Well,
give it back.
they're probably going to have to give that back so they can actually eat. Europe is in a really bad disposition, and really so is the UK. Believe it or not, they are stuck on an island on out there for real.
Or you could
Yes,
just
we
use your
are.
citizens as collateral and just
Or
give
use
them
your
over to
citizens
other
as
nations.
collateral. Yeah, unfortunately, that may be the truth. That may be the truth. That's a transaction. What the word said that they're gonna what? Sell their son, Basically, I'm gonna paraphrase this, but they're gonna try to sell their sons and daughters to who? To us. They're
Please
gonna
take
try it.
it to me.
They're
I
gonna try
don't
to
got
have a
nothing
transaction.
sweet.
They're gonna have a transaction. Why
And
would
the
they? Why
Sabaeans are
would
going
a
to be like, wait, we'll take them.
No, we actually said the word actually says we say, well, they're gonna go to the Sabaeans. Nah, we don't need to worry about them. You want to pay us? We can broker this transaction. We can broker the transaction, but we're not going to take them. You need that three-way transaction? Okay. To me, that's what I believe is the case because they don't have any other currency. They don't have any other collateral value. They refused to do what? Remember the whole Fort Knox thing? Well, they wanted to blow over just like the Jeffrey Epstein thing. We don't need to worry about Fort Knox.
Coal and potatoes. Everyone loves a good spud.
You know?
You can't have McDonald's without spuds. I'm just saying.
So now everything's a mystery. The reality is, are they going to tell the truth? And I told you, no, they're not going to tell the truth. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. They're going to lie some more until everything is destroyed. Because you have to understand that when people realize that they've been lied to, especially them folks, when they realize that they've been lied to, they take action.
Yeah. They get really mean and nasty.
Yep. They get deadly. They
You
get
literally
violent.
see the spirit on the wicked spirits on them. It's not nice looking at. I mean, you all saw what happened last year in this country, this time last year, where these people took to the streets and started with their violent racial chanting and everything. And it wasn't just that, they were actually beating up people. Some of these poor immigrants, they went
Yeah, in the
down and
UK. Yeah, in
yeah.
the UK. Yeah, we remember that. We covered that.
Oh yeah, I remember that in the UK. Yeah, and then a couple of years a little before this, before the pandemic, the Tiki Torch gang, and then also that whole thing when our people Aquaman came to the rescue and helped that brother who was getting attacked by them. So yeah.
Well, remember. Look, Europe isn't going to go down without African resources. It's gonna it'll be depleted. But you got to remember who was always going to be going to the Europeans' rescue. That's always us. That's always, well, I'm going to say us, but that's them. It's the United States.
I was gonna say, like, which us?
Now,
Us or US?
This is the US. The US will actually send over their energy reserves.
And an extortionate rate, of course.
If Europe is suffering like that, I don't know. I really don't know.
No, they'll probably, but they'll probably put them in some sort of trap debt or buy now and pay later for, I don't know, some stupidness.
Because honestly, the Western Golem, which is what this nation is, the United States is a Golem nation. It's a Golem nation. It's a nation that was literally just built to serve Europe. Now they'll try to act like, oh, there is a disconnect. No, it's not. No, it's not. But when the monster starts to turn on the master, then that's when they have problems. Because why?
All those people of Canada. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Garth.
No, I was about to say, when you say Europe, it's also kind of just Rome, because all those nations around there are a part of Kittim, and Edom became one and essentially became Rome. So this place was always an extension of Rome.
Mm-hmm. It was a satellite. It was a satellite. It was a colony. That's why they called it a colony. It's just that the colony, right, grew power, but they wanted to manage the power. So they could act like they were always autonomous when they weren't. The U.S. was really never autonomous.
Well, if it was, it wouldn't keep going. These presidents wouldn't keep going to Rome, would they?
Yeah, exactly. But now even that's starting to disintegrate. Well, let's get on good terms with Africa and act like we're not part of Europe. No, this place has always been part of Europe. Now, when Europe is cutting off the visas, what are they trying to do? They're trying to show the connection, because why? Well, we got to sever the connection, because why? Because we're going to get ready to destroy them, because we're going to sacrifice them to what? To save ourselves. To me, this is the biggest mass sacrifice ceremony that will be in the history of mankind. I hate to say it. And if you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. So for all those people that want to say, I'm going to stick around, this is my land, I'm going to stick around, I wish you would read the word.
I mean, as bad as it sounds, I mean, Moloch is on the dollar for a reason.
Bingo. Moloch and Raphin. Well, we got to pay, so let them pay. Did it not say that, the beast was going to what? Throw off the whore and all those folks that was riding the beast, all those nations were going to do what? Destroy her with what? With fire? They're going to sacrifice her.
In God we trust.
Better to destroy her than us be destroyed. They were what? The scapegoat. Here's the scapegoat country. We made the scapegoat look real nice for generations. We make the scapegoat, have all the luxurious, all the fanciness, all the titles, but we already knew what the goat was doing. It was going to be prepared to be sacrificed when this judgment comes, so we could say it was her fault. Now, if you don't read the word, if you don't understand the word, and when you try to go off of conjecture that's not based on the word, then you're going to be saying, well, FBAs and ADOS, and we got to get our reparations, and this is our land, and we're, Cimarrones and Seminoles and Choctaw and Blackfoot, and
look it up on Chat GPT if you don't believe me. Sarcasm.
You know, but what do they want? Man, they want you to be included in this. Because why? Because if you're going to be doing the wickedness, then guess what? You're going to get judged too. Do you want to be here in judgment? If you want to be here and be judged, hey, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem. Because I told you what the truth is. You want to hate me for telling you the truth? You can hate me. But it's not that you're hating me. You're actually hating the Most High because you know that he's going to carry out his word. And when he carries out his word, you already know that you ain't going to be saving this place. Father, please save Babylon. I'm the
Don't
one.
save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved.
Yeah. That's how this goes, and we've been telling these analogies, we've been explaining all of these things that's going on, and you're hearing it from the horse's mouth, from the Kremlin, from Lavrov. What are you going to do? Who cares about sanctions? Well, you don't want to do sanctions? Now we got to ratchet this on up. And do you think that Russia is just going to take the first volley? Okay, you hit us first. No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, this isn't put up your dukes. Come on, put them up. Put them up. No, this is gonna
But do you know that? But do you understand why? You understand what happened. You understand why that happened. Here's the analogy, so you understand geopolitical. You have a geopolitical analysis. I don't just come through and just, I know a lot of things can be funny. I know a lot of topics can be, pretty funny. I mean, look, it can go there. But the reality is you had China and you had Russia sitting back in the cut, having the first strike being conducted on Iran. The geopolitical analysis is you can't beat us with sanctions economically. You can't beat us with any other conventional armaments that you have because you don't have those hypersonic defenses. They just don't. You saw that at Qatar, Al Udeid. That is the biggest Air Force base in the Middle East. One of the biggest Air Force bases outside of the United States in the world. If they were so confident, then guess what? They wouldn't have evacuated Al Udeid. Man, they packed up and they left when they realized it was going to be serious. Because they were going to make impact. Now I believe Iran would obviously give them notice. We are going to hit you. No, well, let's negotiate. Nah, man, we are going to hit you. But, you need to now we are going to hit you. Okay, well, when we get hit, we'll just say that nothing happened, and then, we can start negotiating. They already knew that they weren't going to negotiate in good faith. Are you kidding? Sure, we'll negotiate. All right, China, you got them things? Russia, you got them things? There are articles out there that says that Iran is about to get their nuclear program back on track sooner than later, like I had said. Oh, it could take years. Remember, they said years, and it went to months. I told you it's only going to be weeks and days. Well, the centrifuges really weren't all destroyed. Matter of fact, we didn't even take no damage. It really didn't damage anything. They said that last week. They said it last week. So now you have Russia and China, and they're saying, okay, we see how you operate. All right, you want to do these tariffs and you realize those tariffs aren't going to work. And then you're going to try and strike us. This is why you will have a preemptive strike. How could they just come out and do something so horrible, so terrible? I need to get to the UN, and I need to lodge my complaints to the UN.
Nah, I mean when you're in front of someone's face saying, "Yo, I'm gonna punch you so bad if you don't do this. I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna punch you,"
Yeah.
and then that person's like so antagonized to the point where you've accosted them and threatened them that they have to do something to just, you know.
Well, they already know. They already know. Well, let's get to the table, and then we're gonna sneak attack you. How are you gonna treat that opponent? Here, put your face in front of my face. Put your face. Why? So you can punch you in the face? So you can knock me out? No. I'll do that. You close your eyes. My face is coming closer, and then you're gonna punch that person. See, you gotta trust me. Yeah, I trust you that you're always gonna do dirty tactics. So now America has no moral leg to stand on. They lost their moral leverage. They lost the moral high ground. Those were big deals that had happened. And a lot of people did not understand what was truly going on. They lost international respect. That's why you had Trump reach on out to Africa. See, we love Africans. We love our Africans. They speak good English. And he totally bombs.
Where did you learn to speak English? Where you
and
such great English.
Yeah. And saying how she's so
English
beautiful.
I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And he totally bombed it. And he totally bombed it. So
everybody looks like.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say everybody was looking like, what? They speak English. It's their national language. Like, oh my god. And then
it's like being in this country when you just grow up around. I mean, obviously not all Gentiles are like that, but you know the ones that say, "Oh, Garth, you speak white," or you speak you're very well spoken. I'm like,
well spoken.
What am I supposed to be a babbling idiot?
Yes.
Am I supposed to be some stereotype you watch on TV that makes you feel comfortable that I'm not
what
like
it
a
be
human
like,
being?
Garth? What the diddy?
That's because they believe their own propaganda. They've fallen for their own propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
They put
right.
that
It's
stuff
like
out there.
It's like their brain is glitching.
Yeah, it's like you realize that y'all wrote all of these 1980s, 1990s movies of all the gang violence to perpetuate and to have the stereotypes perpetuated. So then you all could create this fear to do what? To lock us on up.
And to turn the other nations against us, really and truly.
Exactly. But now you all are reaping what you're sowing because it was your people that took the bait. Our people said, nah, we're smarter than that. Let's go to school and let's take our image back. Let's understand our image. And they fell right into the trap that their own people has set.
You know, the trap was the fact that they didn't have to try as hard because they thought we were stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too dumb to educate ourselves, too dumb to move beyond the confines in which they've set for us.
Let me tell you, I think the Most High that he had brought me into a place to humble me to where it was like, man, Father, I don't know where this or how this is getting paid. I don't know where this or how this is getting done. I don't know. I said, but Father, I thank you. You know, there was it got to the point to where I was so comfortable being uncomfortable. I said, thank you, Father, that this bill is going to get paid because you're going to do it. Because you're awesome. It's you that's going to work this thing on out. I don't even have to ask for funds, donations. I don't even have to ask for it. Sometimes it'll just be like, wow, it just shows up. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Towards the end, I'm still in the trial. Don't get that twisted. Thank you. And you know, I appreciate your prayers, family, because these trials are different. These aren't like trials that you saw when you read the word. We are dealing with trials that our ancestors did not have to deal with. I know it's hard to believe.
No, I agree with you.
Well, you know, the Most High is just going to snap your fingers and things. No. It's literally a patience test.
We don't have that. I know I ain't a patient person.
And we don't. Exactly. And we don't. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this because I'm even going through the trials right now. I really am. But you want to know what I'm doing? I'm also going through and I'm working and I'm doing the work the Most High says. You got to do this work because as you're doing this work, then I'm getting things ready for you to then get things going. Look, there have been things that we're trying to get done. We do. We want to get it done. However, it's not in our timing. It's literally in the Most High's timing. And the frustration that we all get is that, man, well, Father, are we going to be able to do it? Father, are we going to? And the Most High saying, yes, you're going to do it, but you have to go through this.
It's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Oh my goodness. Look, there were people I was trying to communicate for like a couple days. There were things going on here. Glenn McDonald, thank you for the super stick. I appreciate that. Hallelujah. But you know, the reality was, you know what I did? I said, thank you, Father. And I just started singing. You got this, Father. I started singing. And when I sing, I also do my little hooks. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you have to do your hooks. And then I start laughing at how crazy my hooks are. And then I have to say, thank you, Father, because the joy of Yahuwah is my strength. The joy of Yahuwah. It's as soon as I'm like, literally, thank you, Father.
Does your dog join in with you as well?
My dog actually does try to dance with me. Ray does try to dance. It's pretty hilarious. He's on the ground. He puts his little paws up and he tries to like dance. It is pretty funny. But yesterday I was dealing with the situation that I had on the ground on the continent as we were getting things done, and there was something that was going on in a meeting that was happening. And in that meeting, people were panicked. And I had to say in that meeting, I said, all right, we'll just get that thing done. We'll cross that bridge. Now, here's the thing. I could have easily gotten panicked. I could have easily gotten flustered. But you know what I did? I said, thank you, Father. And I sat. I said, I'm not going to do anything, Father. I'm just going to sit here. I sat for about a day. The meeting had gone on. Terrace, I got great news. Hallelujah. Because what we were not able to access years ago was literally because of our curses and they're being reversed.
That's right.
And on
First
top of
release.
that, there was another situation, and then it was, oh no, we're good, we got this, we're good, we got. But the reality is, there's no panic. There's no panic. The Most High is good. I'm not here to come through. Oh well, Brother Garrett's is having a hard time. I don't know. Hey, listen. Thank you, Father. If Brother Karras goes down for a day or two, thank you, Father. That just means that that's a day or two. I needed to just sit there with the Most High as He works with me in something. Because I'm telling you, I'm just a vessel like everyone else. We all have to go through and be reevaluated and reinspected.
As Jacoba call it, fruit inspectors.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they don't really have no fruit inspectors, not in the natural, because a lot of this produce ain't even being picked right now.
It's gonna stink, man.
But now that USDA is passing, I forgot it started with the A, April or A Apple. It sounds kind of like similar to Apple. That now whatever thing that Bill Gates has funded, that where they're gonna use it to have longer lasting fruits and vegetables. So you already know.
Fake fruit. Yeah, fake fruit is coming. The fake
Plastic.
fruit's coming. Yeah. And that's gonna be that's a shame. That's pretty horrible. That's pretty horrifying.
Not for us.
But I thought RFK was gonna make America healthy again. But sorry. Side note. I don't want to distract your testimony.
You're thinking wrong, Brother Garth. You're thinking wrong. Said appeal. Yeah, that's Dowdy says appeal. And and that's it'll be good for compost. That's right, Sister Candy.
No, it won't even.
Yeah,
it won't even.
Look, all them worms are gonna be dying. So that's not going. So, but that's the whole thing of the testimony of walking and moving as the Most High is moving. Now, did I say that this trial is going to be forever? No, it's not going to be forever. But there had to be patience, because the way that the Most High was moving was just so great. Honestly, it would have hurt my head. Oh my goodness. Book into Zion. Oh my goodness. I did want to bring that up. Oh.
Hey, boo boo. It looks like judgment is coming. Gee,
yo,
I think you're right, Yogi.
That was the case. That was
if they're running from something.
No, here's the reality. Last week, the lions were running from the area.
What?
And this week, the bears. Yellowstone, Yellowstone is burning.
And also where that is coming from? Leave the world behind. How all those animals are fleeing and moving.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! What a great coincidence.
Well, remember, they don't want to tell you about the seismic activities, because remember, those agencies are now being cut. They're not being funded, so you don't even know what type of seismic activity is on its way.
Is there something going on in the Grand Canyon?
No, it's Yellowstone. Yellowstone is
it's Yellowstone. Okay, all right.
Like 400 or 500 miles. Yellowstone hits about parts of Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Wyoming, and Utah and Montana. It's a huge area. They call it Yellowstone. So,
you want to know something funny though, Karis? My oldest son, from when he was little, he kept screaming and crying and said, Yellowstone is going to erupt. Yellowstone is going to erupt. He was terrified from when he was little. He's now 24. But he was terrified from when he was little, and was so convinced that that it's going to erupt. That was his fear. That was the one thing that kept him up at night. I kid you not. So
Well,
it's like,
And also, I don't know, what's his face? Well, obviously, Paul was also reporting on it, and also other people, even someone, that there was going to be a huge, seismic, cataclysmic tsunami coming from Japan.
yeah, but that was July 5th, and
Yeah.
it came and it went.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff. Look, there's going to be judgments. Just like with the Deagle report. Oh, well, at the end of this year, all the people. They always put all that stuff on out there. Now, will it be reduced in numbers? Yeah, I believe it will.
Yeah.
Will it happen this year? Honestly, I don't know. Could it happen in the next 50 days? It could.
Yep.
You never know what that preemptive strike looks like. Because I'm telling you, when people get that preemptive strike, guess what? Everybody's leaving. You know that's the case. Everybody's leaving.
Of course.
I'm going to be like them Cubans. I will vote for my vote.
I mean, also, that's why all the planes are mysteriously falling out of the sky and malfunctioning. You said I will vote.
For my
For
vote.
my vote. Vota, I will vote.
I will get on my Alien Gonzalez. Oh no, that's terrible.
But here's the thing. Where are some of these other people gonna go?
Look, they will try to. I guarantee you, they will try to head down and cross the border into Mexico. Now, all of a sudden, do you see how that is? All of a sudden, Mexico don't want them there.
And do you remember I spoke to you? I think it was either the beginning of this year or late last year, and I said to you it was this year. I said to you years ago, before I woke up, and Donald Trump was in his first term, and he was basically, when he first, actually before he was in his first term, when he was running and he was mouthing off about building the wall. I remember being in the YouTube comments, and I said, you need to ask yourself, what is the war really for? Do you really think it's to keep them out or to keep you in? I've always known it was to keep Americans in. I've always known this. Now, obviously, back then, like I told you, Karis, I never knew that America was Babylon. I always thought that it was the church, the Roman Catholic Church, as most Christians do. But I always knew one of the things that we were taught was that that whatever happens when judgment hits the world, it's starting in America. That was the one thing that we were taught, and I've always known that if they're building a wall, it's not to keep them out, it's to contain you. It is to contain you. So I always knew that. So
imagine now the dollar is being devalued. The dollar lost 11% and more. It's losing value. So now imagine where you're gonna go. Where are you gonna go? What can
they're
you do?
kicking them out of Mexico as well, actually.
Yeah, you're just gonna be, and honestly, think about this. Where are they gonna go that's actually gonna bring value? Think about that.
Because
are they really going to bring skills and other things?
Exactly, because you're not skilled like that.
Yeah, like they're bringing in literally H-1B visa holders. They already know.
There's nothing that they can actually do. We saw a white guy on TikTok complaining about how he's lost his workers, and that I think he's in construction. He owns a construction company, and he's these white boys, it takes them several days to do a one-day job, something that and I'm like, this is your people. I thought you built your country yourself, so go build.
No, now out here, no, and that, because that was a crazy thing. I was literally just down in Cape Coral, and Tampa here, they have so many construction sites, and they're actually not being completed. It is
Yeah, I've
really
seen the images.
crazy. It's really crazy. Um, you know, people are leaving. People are trying to leave. This is now, you can see how bad it is. It's pockets. It's pockets. The pocket I'm in is actually relatively stable. The other pockets are not stable. And this all started from Hurricane Milton. This all started from last year. Remember when I was stuck in the middle of the hurricane, couldn't leave?
I remember that.
Yeah, I'm trying to plan. I told you my plan, and I'm giving you all my evacuation plan because it's, I believe that now this go around is a lot different because you still have now a higher water level. A lot of that water did not drain off like they were thinking it was going to drain off. So it actually increased the water level here in Florida. So if we were to have another Hurricane Milton effect, I would literally be cut off. I would literally be in an island here in South Florida. Islands. We'd actually be a chain of islands.
Do you want to know what I know? I just say hallelujah, because you know what? This is the time that the Most High is going to be like, you just stop and watch me just stretch forth my arm. Like, I love moments like this, because these are the moments that it's like we don't have that kind of phantasm that our ancestors had. This is the days
Now,
when
he'll make a way to get folks, out of here. I'm pretty sure, like,
I know he will. I know he will.
Yeah.
But I see more than that. I mean, everything that these prophets talked about, Isaiah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, all of them, Ezra, all of them were looking towards this day. This was the day where finally Israel gets to come back home for good. And this is the day that the whole world is going to recognize that the Most High's hand is in it. That no one can literally turn around and say, oh no, this was just done by China, or they were helped by Russia or whatever. No, the Most High said everyone's going to know that I am the Most High. Everyone's going to know. So I don't know whether it's now or whenever, but for me, it's like one thing I know is that he said his promises are, I'm not going to turn away from my people. If he said this is the time that I'm going to pull you out, then he's going to pull us out. And for those of us that don't have a way, I'm like, oh my gosh, but I don't have this.
He'll make a way when he'll definitely make a way when there's no way. He'll give us the knowledge and the understanding and the forethought to get on out when we see that tropical wave coming. And now we're getting it. I told you around mid-July, which is where we're at. We're mid-July. Now the tropical waves are coming. And those tropical waves are not small tropical waves. See, they start out small. These tropical waves are literally leaving West Africa like they would be in literally September, October timeframe.
I was going to say they're coming from Africa, aren't they? West Africa.
Crazy from West Africa. Yeah, it's crazy.
They're taking our flight out where they took us. They're coming, and they're coming to do damage to these people.
Do you understand? Do you understand why they cut off Noah, especially right now? Because they know they're trying to. Come on now. Oops, it's a great disaster. Oh my goodness, it's a great. They're going to try to take people off the map, like for real, off the map. They always get those projections. Well, where I'm at, I'm actually underwater in my projection, or in those projections. Remember, they're like, oh, by 2100, I mean by 2075, I mean by 2050, I mean actually by 2030.
Do you know, I just thought of something. You see, this is regarding, sorry to go back to this, but this is regarding, something just popped into my head. This is regarding the wall, right? Do you think that, okay, so these people, they have access to things that we don't have access to. And we also know that they will try to make sure they give their people access to things that they know we can't have access to.
Yeah. We lost your sister, Chantel.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. The thing that is more in the realm of possibility is that us being able to pass across borders, either by foot or by car or whatever, right? That's how we could do things. And I'm thinking, is it possible that in their mind, although it's to keep people in, but it's really to keep us in, they don't want to lose us. Sorry, my kids, my daughter's just come in, so she's going to be loud. Hold on a sec. Right, sorry. Yeah, so I'm thinking, is it possible that this is more for our benefit to keep us in? Remember, she don't want to she ain't trying to get rid of us. Not like that. What she wants, when she says make America great again, come on. We know when it was great. It weren't great for us.
Yeah, you're, and I get where you're coming from, because as soon as we leave, they're going to be chasing. And
yes.
And if they're chasing, how do we stay? You know, it's basically they've imprisoned themselves. Basically, that's it. They've imprisoned themselves. That's what has actually happened. And now you see, all of a sudden, now in Mexico, you know, folks are now raising, you know, their heads to MAGA and the caps and all that stuff. It's not coincidence. This is all by design. But go ahead, Sister Shaw, or excuse me, Sister Chantel. Final thoughts, because I got to get on. I got to get on on this diplomatic neo-diplomacy road here and get things done. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure, as always. And just to encourage our people that, you know, we don't have to worry. This is not ours. This whole scriptures was written for our benefit, not for theirs. They can get a little bit of warning if they were smart enough, but they're not. So it was for our benefit. We're starting to wake up, and while we're waking up and understanding, oh my gosh, this is for this is not about us. This is not for us. We're grafting or clinging to the word, where they're running in terror. And again, like you were saying, Brother Karis, that when they are scared, they become very violent, very, very violent. You know, they don't know how to be any other way but violent. It's almost like they have a switch. It goes one or the other way. It's like they're either they're extremely happy when they're doing. And the funny thing is, they're only happy that they're happy when they're doing violence. They're miserable when they're miserable. They become violent. See, it's just, oh my gosh, with them. Anyway, I could go on forever, but yeah, time. And thank you for having me. And shalom to everyone in the chat. I love you all. Take care. Watch your backs. And yeah, just be ready.
All right. Thank you, Sister Chantel, for popping in. It is always a blessing. It is. Before I go, family, please make sure that you're signed up for the critical constitutional considerations. This is critical. You know, everything that, well, you know, it's not going to happen. It won't happen. It won't affect me. No, this is where you need to sign up. This town hall is July 20th. It is in a few days. It is in 4 days, 4 days from today. And I'm giving you this. It's Sunday, July 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a Zoom webinar. The admission is free. It's just a recommended one-time $10 donation. And your donation to the Law for Love Living Legacy Charitable Trust is tax deductible and helps us provide the most reliable helps Sister Shar provide the most reliable legal information, skills, training, and legal toolkits for working families to build, preserve, and protect the wealth of our culture and future generations. So this is how we train our people. This is how we provide information and analysis for our people. So please support that today. Please support that today. Get signed up today. It is free. It is, again, free. Again, family, thank you all for your support, your efforts. I do appreciate you all support. Thank you. I really do need your prayers, because we are really in a very interesting predicament, not just here, but also abroad. And so I again, I actually have to wrap this up because I'm a couple minutes late to my meeting. But I really do want to say thank you, family, because your support does make a lot of things happen. The other day, I was actually on the phone with the king in a particular region. It was a regional king. And you know what? They understand the assignment, but they can't be vocal about it. This is how this thing happens. We actually have to support each other outside of these YouTube spaces. Your support goes a long way. When I tell you, sign up for something at neodiplomacy.com, understand how to engage with our brothers and sisters. This isn't something empty, because there's going to be opportunities in the near and dear future. You're going to be exposed to our brothers and sisters on the continent. And we need our people to be exposed in the correct way, to build those relationships. Not just for this generation, but for generations to come. So again, family, also thank you for this channel. This channel allows me to voice and to provide a voice and analysis for what's happening here in the world that's affecting each and every one of us. They don't want to tell you that everything that we're seeing literally affects us. So I thank you, family. Also, please support other channels, other ministry partners. We're here in this time. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generous gifts. It really is. It really is something to help this effort, because again, I'm telling you, I don't think we have that much time left. And I don't go off of my timing. I don't ever say, oh, we're going to have this. Look, you want to know when the time left? See what they're saying. Check out what they're saying. Check out how they're saying things. They literally tell you how much time we have left. So with that said, family, again, that's all I have. Tomorrow I will be back on, Most High willing, and we got to discuss them animals. We got to discuss some animals. So with that said, family, you all take care. And with that, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.